Let us go to the book of Psalm. Psalm 90 verses 12, it says, "So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom." Let us go to Ephesians. Ephesians chapter 5, verses 15 and 16. It says, "See then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise." Verse 16, "Redeeming the time, because the days are evil." Redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Briefly, I'll be sharing with you on something that I've captioned, redeeming the time. Let me start my message by explaining to us what time is. Time is one of the most valuable commodities that God has ever given man. Time is one of the most valuable assets that God has ever given to man. Time is something of paramount importance because time relates to life. The same way liquid is measured in liters, weight is measured in grams, distance is measured in meters, life is measured in time. So time measures life. The same way value measures money, time measures life. That's why if a person dies, they'll say like his lifetime was this. So for us to calculate your life, we coin it to time. If time measures life, that makes time more precious. That makes time to be something that is lucrative. Time is something that is very much important. It is something that we really need to pay attention to. If time measures life, then life without understanding of time is useless. Whatever happens to a man in this life is a function of time. Whatever a man goes through in this life is a function of time. The greatness of a man is coined to his time. People that are great today and people that are simple, people that are small, people that are struggling, all of them, their struggles and their achievement can be traced to time. How they use their time is what determines who they become, how they became, and what they became. Ladies and gentlemen, time is one of the most common things that God has ever given to every person. God did not make any person with equal opportunities. No. Opportunities are different. People are different. Races are different. Color is different. Everything is different. But there's one thing that we all have in common, and that is time. Our complexions differ. There are people that are light and others are black. Our heights differ. There are people that are tall and others are short. Our stature differs. Others are slim and others are huge. But then there's one thing that we all have the same, and that is time. Whether you are rich or you are poor, we all have the same time. The person that is broke and the person that is rich, they all have 24 hours a day. There is no person that has got extra hours of a day. Every person has got 24 hours in a day. If God decided to give us time, equivalent proportion to all of us, that means there's something about time that we really need to understand. People that become great in life and people that become poor in life, their achievements or their misachievements are both traced to time. Somebody say time. Like you mean it, say time. The funny thing is, all of us have been given the grace to have time. All of us are given time. Whether you are wicked, you are righteous, you are holy, you are a Christian, you're not a Christian. All of us, we have got one thing in common, and that is time. And that is time. And that is time. The Bible explains something that I want you to see in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verses 11. It says, the race is not for the swift. the battle is not for the strong, nor wealth to men of understanding. He says, but time and chance happeneth to them all. So time and chance happeneth to the losers and to the victorious. Time and chance happens to losers and to winners. Time and chance happen to the rich and to the poor. But then why is it that we have got this guy that is rich and this guy that is poor, yet time and chance happen to them all? The difference is how they used it. How you use your time determines whether you're going to be rich or you're going to be poor. Somebody holler time. Like you mean it, say time. There are people that use their time very well. And they made it, even in the Bible. The Bible speaking in the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 12, verses 32. It says, and the sons of Isaac were men who had the understandings of times and seasons. He said, and their brothers were under their commands. The sons of Isaac, it was a tribe in Israel. It was a particular tribe in Israel. And their achievement, their specialization, they were people that decided to study time and understand it. They mastered the art of time. They were particular with time to the extent that the Bible tells us to say all their brothers were under their command. They managed to rule the entire nation because they understood one thing, and that is time. They didn't study any other thing. These guys didn't study geography. They didn't study biology. They didn't study mathematics. They studied one course. They enrolled in one university, and that is the University of Times and Seasons. They passed in their distinctions, in the calculations and the applications of time. And the Bible says they managed to dominate the entire region, the entire tribe, and the entire kingdom. Why? Because they managed to study the art of time. They studied the art of time and they managed to make it. So it is true, if you can master time in life, if you can have an understanding of times and seasons, if you can only but understand what time is, then you are destined for greatness in life. Ladies and gentlemen, time is a very rare commodity. It is a very unique commodity that we really need to value. If people are in a relationship, they will date for 7 years. And if the man disappoints that lady, the only problem is going to be he wasted my time. They're never going to complain about anything. He wasted my time. So after 7 years, the only thing that you care about is time. You're not caring about any other thing. You're caring about time. Why? Because time measures life. If you can give somebody your time, you have given them a part of your life that you're never going to recover. If you decide to give me 1 hour out of your time, you are never going to recover that. So whatever I do with your time, it is either you're going to regret or you are going to rejoice thereafter. The same way it is, whatever you do with any particular minute that you have, any hour that you have, it is either you're going to regret in few years to come or you're going to rejoice few years from now. My point is, what do you do with the time that God has given you? Mind you, you are not going to be on earth forever. I know we pray for long life. It is true there is long life. But then, this same long life, what are you going to spend doing long on earth? What is it that you're going to be doing on earth? Why would you even live long on earth? Doing what? Somebody holler time. Like you mean it, say time. I'm going to give you some few facts about time that I want you, before I start talking about redeeming time, I want you just to understand time. Because you can never redeem time without understanding time. Many of us today, we don't value time because we don't understand what time is. We don't understand what time is all about. One thing that you need to understand about time is that time is free, but it is priceless. Time is free, and yet it is priceless. You can't store time. You can't save time. You can't keep time, and yet you can spend it. You can't own time, but yet you spend it. That is one thing that I want you to understand. I'm going to be giving you facts one by one. Please follow me. Number one, time is free, and yet it's priceless. By priceless here, I mean something that is very expensive. Something that is a treasure. That is time. It is free, but it is priceless. Number 2, you can never negotiate with time. You don't negotiate with time. Number 4 that I want you to know. Number 3, I told you we can never negotiate with time. Number 4 thing that I want you to know about time is that you cannot ensure time and you can't be assured by time. You can't, I don't know if you got what I said. You cannot ensure time and you cannot be assured by time. In other words, time waits for no man. You don't have a guarantee that you can stop doing something and you're going to have the time thereafter. No, time still moves whether you do nothing or something. Let me tell your neighbor, you cannot ensure time and you can't be assured by time. You don't own time, but you can spend it. You cannot own time, but you can spend it. You cannot keep time, and yet you can use it. Please get this. When I say you can't keep time, I'm not talking about punctuality here. I'm talking about you keeping it. Say, I want to keep to have a lot of time. You don't do that. So you can't keep time, but you can spend it. You can use it. You don't own time. You cannot own time and say, this is my time. You cannot own it, but you can spend it. That is something that is very serious. That is something that I want you to know about time. The other fact that I want you to know is that time waits for no man. Time is not waiting for somebody. If you decide to procrastinate today, to say, what I was supposed to do today, I'll do the other day, still time will be moving. It is never going to wait for you to be ready. If you say you are not ready today, you'll be ready in 3 months' time. Time is not going to wait for you. It will keep moving. It is just you that your life will be on the stoppage. Even if you decide, listen to this, even if you decide to remove a battery from your watch, time is still moving. Even if you stop your watch, time will still be moving. Even if your watch is not functioning well, time is still moving despite the condition of your watch. Despite how you are watching at your watch, time is still moving. Tell your neighbor, time waits for no man. Tell them like you mean it, time waits for no man. Like you mean it, say time waits for no man. So if you spend your time doing nothing, the watch is still moving. Even if you do nothing or you do something, time is still moving. The thing is, if you spend your time doing nothing, something will still happen to you, but that something is called nothing. You see, whilst you are there doing nothing, something is going on out there. Do you know that if you're at home doing nothing, it doesn't mean the entire world is doing nothing. It is only you that is doing nothing, but something is happening somewhere. So then, whenever you realize that you don't have time and whatever time that you are having, you are using it to do nothing. There are people that are using the same time that you have to do something. And at the end of the day, the person who is doing nothing and a person who is doing something, at the end, they all have results. The results are going to differ. Because this person who was doing something will harvest something. But the person that was doing nothing, he will still harvest. But the thing you harvest is called nothing. Because he did nothing. The other fact that I want you to know about time is that there is no any other special day than the other. There is no special day than the other. Yesterday was as good as today. There is no special day than the other. Matter of fact, Sunday doesn't know that it is Sunday. Saturday doesn't know that it is Saturday. Saturday and Sunday, they only know that there are 24 hours in them. It is you that decide that this is a Sunday and this is a Monday. So there is no special day than the other. All days are the same. What you do with those days determines what happens next to you. Determines what happens in your life. The Bible there is clear. Look at what David is praying. In Psalm 90 verses 12. He says, Lord, teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. Teach us how to calculate our days. that we may live wise, that we may spend them very well. Because we know that we are never going to be here on earth forever. We have got a limited time to be here on earth. So if our time is limited, then teach us how to number our days. Teach us how to calculate our time. Teach us how to know the length of days that we have, that we may use them very well. Time is very much important. So, you need to know how to number your days. That's number one thing that you really need to know. Know how to number your days. And to number your days, there speaks of calculating your time very well. To know how to spend it and how to use it. To know how to utilize it very well. How to make your days count. Listen, you don't need to be counting the days, but making the days count. It is Albert Einstein that said, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that is counted really counts. So you don't need to be living counting days, but you need to be living making days count. Knowing that what I did on Tuesday was something that impacted my destiny positively. That 3 years down on the line, you are never going to regret why you did that particular thing. My advice is never give your time to somebody that doesn't deserve it. Never give your time to any useless being on earth. Never use your time to do something that doesn't mean it. Something that is not adding value to your life. Very soon, sooner or later, you are going to regret that time that you spent on that fella. That time that you spent talking to that girl. That time that you spent talking to that gentleman. You are going to regret it. Right now, you think you have time. When asked, the Buddha responded, they asked him to say, what do you think is the greatest trouble on earth? He says, the greatest problem is people think they have too much time. That is the problem that you are having. Right now, you are living your life scattered because you think you have too much time. That is your problem. You are looking at yourself right now. Maybe you are 25 or maybe you are 30. And you think you have too much time. But you don't realize that just 10 years ago, it is just like yesterday. I was looking on the internet the other day. Then I realized that just recently, we were celebrating World Cup 2010. Today is 10 years down on the line. It was as if 10 years ago was just yesterday. Do you realize that it was just like yesterday when we were crossing over? It is just like yesterday when we were building that church there. And as we are talking, a month, almost 2 months have gone when we started building that church. My question is, since you entered this year, 2020, what have you achieved so far? What have you done with the years, the days that God has given you in 2020? Before you realize we are going to be crossing over into 2021, and yet you don't have anything in your hands or in your pocket. Sir, time waits for no man. Time waits for no man. Apart from the excitement, say 2020 is the year of the hand of God. How is that hand of God going to work when you are just uselessing your time, spending your time doing nothing, sleeping, waking up, doing nothing, living a life without program, without a plan, you're just everywhere, yet nowhere? What are you doing with the time that God has given you? The problem is you think you have too much time. You think you have too much time. That's the reason why as a young girl, you can be there, maybe you're 25, you're 26, you're in your mid-20s, and you can be playing around and talking to any other guy and doing all sorts of things because you think you have too much time. You think you have got too much time. But wait till you cross your 30s, you'll be bombarding our churches with a bunch of prayer requests. I need to settle maritally. But when you had time, how did you spend it? Because right now that you're valuable, you're using it carelessly, talking to any other guy. You can do any other thing. But very soon you're going to be coming back to us. You see, the opportunities that you're having right now, in a few years' time, ladies and gentlemen, they're not going to be there for you. They're not going to be there for you. As a gentleman, the money that you are spending right now, the money that you are making and you are scattering them everywhere, using them, spending them anyhow on any girl that you see, very soon you are going to regret what you did with that money. You'll be wanting to settle and that money is not going to be there because you spent it negatively. You spent it badly. Do you know that even if you comfort yourself that you are young, they are your fellow young mates, they are your fellow age mates that have achieved better than what you have achieved. The problem is that you deceive yourself because you are associating with useless people, your fellow useless friends. That's the reason why you comfort yourself. You think you have too much time. Be exposed and see what other people are doing. I'm telling you, because all of you are doing nothing. So you comfort one another, say, hey, we still have time. Do you know that at that 25 years, there's a 25-year-old guy somewhere that is owning houses, cars, and mansions out there? There's a 25-year-old fella that has a company out there. You are comforting yourself, say, oh, you're 28. 28, there are people that are living their lives and impacting destinies. I don't know how you're comforting yourself, but do you know that by the time I was 19 years old, I was having a crusade and ministering to thousands? You think you still have time. You think you still have time. That is the problem that you're having. That's the reason why, despite the technology, despite the development, despite the civilization that has taken place, this generation has become, forgive me to use this term, but it's one of the most useless generations ever. It is one of the most less impacting generation ever. Do you know that if you look at the people like the Kaundas of those days, they were visionaries. At the age of 25, they were thinking on how to take over government. Do you know people called Kunta Kinte? 25 years, they were taking over government, terrorizing governments. Do you know Tiro of South Africa? 25, the man was all over making impact. How about Patrice Emery Lumumba of Congo? At the age of 30, the guy was all over. He had traveled all over the world. He was in power. He was the president. By 36, I think 36, 38, the man died. Thomas Sankara of Burkina Faso, 35, the man is retiring. 36, the man dies. He had already ran as a president. Are we seeing 35-year-old presidents in these days? Forget about what they are telling you that you are a youth. What do they mean by telling you that you are a youth? They are coining it to 35 years. People made impact. But in this dispensation, it's rare to find a 25-year-old man that is doing something serious. Why? They think they have too much time. Even just in the secular world, do you know, ever heard of a man called Tupac, who was a rapper in America? Do you know how old that guy died? He died at 25 years. But up to now, you know him, and I can tell you that even your children will know him. The guy, by the age of 25, he impacted the world, took over the world, sold records all over the world. He died. I don't know about how many years now. He died in 1996, somewhere there. Today is 2020. His songs are still playing. People are still talking about him. He impacted this world at 25. Some of you have already crossed 25. What have you done? What have you done? Do you think you have too much time? That's the problem. What have you done? At 25 years, some of you, let's not forget about the world. Even some of your relatives don't even know you. Look at your neighbor, say neighbor. Your problem is that you think you have too much time. Look at your neighbor, say neighbor. At that age, what have you done with your life? Something that will interest you about time is that time cannot be stored. Time cannot be stopped, and time cannot be renewed. Time cannot be stored. Time cannot be stopped, and time cannot be renewed. Time size like a river. Just like a river, you cannot catch the flow twice. So you can't catch time twice. You can't catch the same hour twice. The second you are having right now, once it passes, you're never going to catch it again. So whenever you're trying to live circumspectly, the Bible says, let us live circumspectly. Now, circumspectly there speaks of being careful, making the days count, giving every opportunity the best shot that you can. It tells you to say we should redeem time. Look at this. It says the reason why we should redeem time, it says because the days are evil. The days are evil. So we ought to redeem time. We need to know how to give time the best shot that we can. You can't renew it. Once you lose it, you've lost it. If you're at the river and you catch a flow, you're never going to catch that flow again. That's how time is. Once it's gone, it is gone forever. You're never going to have it. How it went, what you did with it, you have to give an account at some point in life. You would have to give your account in life. So even if you sleep the whole day, it is not that you are keeping time. Time is still moving. You can't store it the way you keep and say, let me keep money. No. It's time you can't keep it. It's still moving. You can store water, put it in your storehouse, but time you can't store it anywhere. Time, sir, is one of the most expensive things that can never be bought by money. There is no amount of money that can be used to buy time. You can never buy time. You can never use money to buy time. Time is, I don't know how I can explain it, but time is something that is so delicate that if we have an opportunity and we are given time, we should use it wisely. 5 years from now, we would be talking about who has a car and who doesn't have, who has a house and who doesn't have, who is married and who is not. We'll be talking about achievements of people. Okay, if that 5 years come, what are we going to be pointing at on you? We're not talking about faith here. Faith doesn't mean stupidity. Faith doesn't mean you should be foolish. Faith is in the absence of planning. Have faith, but be able to think and plan. Have faith. You see, the problem with Christianity nowadays, it is that miracles, faith is trying to replace the brain. Faith is trying to replace the mind. A lot of people that are praying, they are praying without the brains. They are praying without thinking properly. That is the reason why Christianity is not moving the way it's supposed to move. People are living their life as if it is in the days of Moses. That way, they're just expecting manna to fall in the ground. They don't have a plan, they don't have a vision, they don't have a God. They're just living like that. They're just waiting for miracles. Sir, miracles. I believe in miracles. Isn't it a wonder that you come to me waiting for me to perform a miracle? Me that you come to. I have the power, the grace to perform miracles. And yet, I do something as well. I use my time well. I invest very well. I do business. And you're expecting me to pray for you to be rich. I am praying for you to be rich and I'm doing business to be rich. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm telling you, this is something that pastors don't tell you. I'm telling you. You see, the problem with Christianity is that there's extremism. Everything that God gives us, it is used and abused at the end. Prophet Obed Angel started praying and miracle money would appear. Everybody now stops doing anything, said, I just want miracle money. Just need miracle money. It doesn't work like that, sir. Miracle money is not a yardstick by which we live by. It is not a thing that makes us rich. It's a sign that God can be able to provide for you. The Bible says, I'll bless the works of your hands. Look at your neighbor, say neighbor. That time that you have, what are you using it for? I've already told you that when you misuse your time, the most painful thing is that you can never negotiate with time. You can't plead with time. You can't beg time to stay with you. Time is one of the elements that has got one of the most radical faces that you can ever see. Time doesn't have compassion. It doesn't have affection. You can plead all the days, but it keeps moving. It has got the power to ignore you no matter how you pray. You can't pray time in. You can't pray time out. Time is time. It is fixed and it is not limited. The point is, what are you doing with that time? What are you doing with that time? What are you doing with that time? You can never. I began to are we talking about redeeming time? Wait, I'll be telling you about that. But first, I want to show you how you've been uselessing your time. How you have been there doing nothing and expecting your life to change. How you have been there praying for miracles. Miracles. Now let's leave miracles for now. Time. Imagine, let's say for instance, 30 years from now, you've got kids, you've got children, and as you're moving with your children, they begin to ask you stuff. And they ask you questions like, Daddy, who owns Microsoft? And you answer, Bill Gates. Daddy, who owns Amazon? Jeff Bezos. Who owns this Dangote cement? Aliko Dangote. Daddy, who owns Facebook? Mark Zuckerberg. Who owns Dr. Fashion? TL. Now, let's be moving. You're just giving an example here. These are examples that we are giving. These are examples. Anyway, don't mind. And they ask you a lot of stuffs. And you answer them all that. And maybe if you have got children like me, and they ask you, say, so, when your friends were owning all these things, what were you doing? Imagine, after explaining, your friends have owned all these things, what were you doing? I feel a lot of us in this place, we have wasted too much time on things that don't matter. I can guarantee you that a majority of us here, 3/4 of us, 99% of us in this place, we have wasted our time on things that don't really matter, on things that don't really count. That's why we are where we are today. The rich and the poor, they are given the same time, 24 hours. But what they do with it determines whether they will remain poor or that one will remain rich. You have wasted time on things that don't even matter. You have successively wasted 1 month and about 22 days of 2020. If you believe you haven't wasted it, what have you done in this 1 month, 22 days? What have you done? I don't know, because you're trying to pretend like, oh, it's well. What have you done so far? Please get this. It will help you. You can never capture the entire year until you learn to maximize a day. You can never utilize the year very well unless you know and master how to utilize a day well. You can never value a day until you learn to value hours that are in the day. And you can never learn to value an hour until you learn to value a minute. You can't learn to value a minute until you value a second. There are about 86,400 seconds in a day. Every second put together, they make one day. So if your second matters, your day will matter. If your day matters, then your entire year will matter. The reason why your year is wasted is because 1 second of your life doesn't matter. Bill Gates gets paid in seconds because seconds matter. If you think seconds don't matter, Bill Gates gets paid hundreds of dollars, I think $400 per second. That's to show you how much seconds are costly. If you think a second doesn't matter, ask a person that missed an accident. If you think a second doesn't matter, ask somebody that missed an accident. Somebody that was nearly bashed, but 1 second he stepped out and the car passed. Then you know that a second really matters. Now, if you think a second doesn't matter, do you know that 1 second can save your life from dying? Just 1 second, it can save your life from dying. You can miss an accident just for a second. If you're about to bash something and it moves in a second, you can be free and you can survive it. If you think a second doesn't matter. If you think a second doesn't matter. If you think a minute doesn't matter, ask somebody that missed a flight because of 1 minute. They were about to check in and the moment just the time ticked. No, don't look for any other person. Ask me. I have missed many flights many times. Praise the Lord. But not anymore. I used to miss flights those days. The other time I'm flying, and I arrive at the airport. And I'm there at the airport. And I want to check in, they say, sir, we can't, sorry, sir, we can't do anything. And you know those people at the airport, anytime they're talking to you and you hear them afraid, just know that you're in trouble. You know, tell you, say, I'm afraid, sir. Just know that you're in trouble. Something is wrong with you. So, sorry, sir, I'm afraid you cannot check in now. I said, I'm already here. I said, no, the time. Just 1 minute that I missed. And they closed check-in. And I had to pay another $100 to top up to get another ticket. So 1 minute costed me over 1,000 those days. Sir, time is precious. A second really matters. A second really matters. The prayer of a dying man. Any man that is dying, any human being that is on the dying bed, on the deathbed, if you ask them what they need the most, what they would ask for, they will not ask for their businesses. They will not ask for anything else. They would ask for more time. If you can only but give me more time. I haven't started mentioning exactly points there, but learn to utilize your time very well. It says the days are evil. Let us not walk circumspectly. Circumspectly. People walking around without a program. Walking around without doing anything, without a plan. It says the days are evil. Instead, we should buy back our time. The word redeem there means to buy back. The Bible is telling you to say redeeming the time. The Greek word there is something like, I think, exgolas or something. It is talking about redeeming the time in the sense of buying back your time. Acknowledging that you have wasted too much time, but you really need it back, the time. Now, time wasted is never recovered. But then, that's the reason why we are Christian, because in Christ Jesus, there is a possibility that we can buy back the time. We can recover our time. Wasn't it in the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 25? It says, I will restore unto you all the wasted years. We are seeing the wasted years there. That the caterpillars and the cankerworms have eaten. Sir, caterpillars and cankerworms don't eat vegetables. They eat years. They eat time. Caterpillars and cankerworms, they don't eat grass. They don't eat weed in the farm. They eat your years. We'll talk about the caterpillars and the cankerworm very soon. He says you can restore it. So to redeem is to buy back. To redeem is to restore. It is to pay a price in order to gain back something that was already yours. Redeeming is not buying afresh. No. It is buying something that was already yours. Something was already yours, you owned it, but you let go of it. But if you want it again, you have to buy it. But the price that you're going to buy it with, it is going to be higher than the price that you sold it. That is redemption. Now, if you look at the word that we use, redemption, that Jesus redeemed us from the curse of the law. Adam had life. He sold it to the devil by high treason. Remember when they ate the fruit with Eve, they sold life and abundant. But when Jesus came trying to buy man from the devil, this time around it wasn't a fruit. It wasn't a fruit. Life that we have was bought by one fruit. The devil bought life by a fruit. But this time around, when God wants back his life, he has to pay with his own son. It took life, blood to be spilled, to be shed, for man to be bought back. Who sold his life for a fruit? One fruit, he sold his eternity. To be bought back, God had to pay with his own son. So redeeming the time, you really need to pay a price. There's a price that you must pay to take back the time that you have lost. Ladies and gentlemen, that time that you have lost can be taken back, can be restored. But for it to be restored, it's not going to be free for free. You'd have to pay. There's a price that you need to pay. The question is, are you ready to pay a price? Are you ready to pay the price? And most of the times it's not prayer. There are things you're supposed to do in order to get back your time. There are things you're supposed to do in order to get back your time. My question now is, are you ready to pay the price? To redeem means to make sacred use of every opportunity that you have been given. The Greek word is exagorazo. You really need to pay a price. The reason why I'm giving you this message is, if you are going to continue like this, I can guarantee you, I can bet you, 10 years from now, you're never going to achieve anything. If you're going to continue living life careless like that, scattered life like that, a ratted life like that, undisciplined life like that, few years from now, you'll still be where you are. Already you have wasted too much time. Let us begin to restore and recover that time that you have wasted. Can we begin to restore the time that you have wasted? But the point is, are you willing to pay the price? It's a wonder how men keep calling it killing time, saying they are killing time. But in actual sense, it is time that is killing them indirectly. You can't kill time, but time can kill you. So I know killing time. It's time that is killing you indirectly and you just don't know. Let me begin to give you principles on how you can be able to redeem time. Number one, your availability must matter. Have you written that one down? Let me tell you, get this. You are available at any time. You are available. As long as you are alive, you are available. But you must choose where to be available. Where you are available matters. To whom you are available really matters. You are available at any time as long as you are alive. But where to be available and to whom to be available should matter to you. You should never be available at any place at any time. It's not every place that demands your presence. Some places appreciate your absence. You must know which places you should be absent and which places you should be present. Places like these ones, you are present today because there is value that is coming to you. There is a life that you are getting at the end. But there are places that you are not supposed to be present at. There are people to whom you are supposed to be absent in their lives. You are not supposed to be present in their lives. You are not, no matter what. Because your presence matters. Your availability matters. If you become available anywhere, you realize later that you have spent a lot of time. Never be at a place where your worth is not felt, where your value, your input is not recognized and appreciated. But then you should understand what the word appreciated means. You are not supposed to be at any place, anytime. There are places you are not supposed to be with. You are not supposed to be with any person at any time. There are people you're not supposed to be with. Deliberately, there are people you should avoid even if they didn't offend you. There are people you are not supposed to be found with even if they didn't do anything to you. There are calls you should not pick even if you are available to pick them. There are messages you shouldn't respond to if you want to buy back time. Never be available. Your problem is that you are available at any place to anyone at any time. That is why you have wasted too much time. You are available to anyone. Be available to things that matter. Be only available to people that matter. Be available to human beings that matter, to places that matter. Only attend events that really matter. It is a wonder that people can be invited, say there's a wedding. Who is getting married? I know there's only a friend from a workplace. Let's go. You buy clothes. You are going to a wedding to someone that you don't even know. You don't value your time. That's the reason why you are available anywhere. Ask your neighbor, you understanding? Tell them you have successfully wasted too much time because you are available anywhere. Everywhere, at any time, to everyone. This is a problem that you are having. You should never be available to anyone at any time. The moment you become available like that, there are two things that happens to you. Number one, you lose your time. Number two, your value depreciates. Sir, scarcity creates value. Scarcity. I'll come back to that. Never be available at any time to anyone, anywhere. No. Learn to keep your time. That is number one. Number two, learn to value yourself. Value yourself. Add value to yourself. Add value to yourself. The main reason why you are available anywhere at any time is because you haven't added value to yourself. If you haven't added value to yourself, maybe you haven't realized what value you have, how much value you have, how much you are worth. So value yourself. Learn to value yourself. You see, pride is a bad thing. Pride is a bad thing when you're pompous. But there's a dimension of pride that is good, where you really need to have that kind of integrity and pride to yourself. The problem is this. You don't value yourself. That's why you waste your time like that. You can talk to anyone that is around because you don't know your value. You can visit anyone, you can escort anyone anywhere because you don't know your value. The moment you begin to place value on yourself, you begin to create time. And how do you place value on yourself? When you begin to deny people of your presence. I told you scarcity creates value. One of the ways you can create value, it is by disappearing from people's presence at times. Water, you can get water, wash your hands and pour anywhere. You can even get water from your house and water your flowers, your garden outside. But do you know that the Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company, once they announce that we are never going to have water for the next 2 days, it is rare that same water that you can pour anyhow, you can use it to water your garden. You utilize it very well. We don't understand and realize the importance of water until we just have 1 day. Do you know that if water disappears in your house for 1 day, you feel the impact? So there are people that will never feel your impact until you disappear from their life just for 1 day. Don't talk to them for 1 day. They will understand how important they are. Or you understand how important they are to you. Or they will understand how important you are to them. Scarcity creates value. Tell your neighbor. Anything that is scarce is valued. Whatever is scarce is valued. People will disrespect you if you don't have value. Ladies, value yourself. All these unnecessary heartbreaks that you're experiencing, you couldn't have been experiencing them if you had value. Unnecessary heartbreaks that you're experiencing, you could have escaped them if you only knew your value. If you only knew your worth. Tell your neighbor, add value to yourself. Tell them with passion, learn to value yourself. The way I've added value to myself, whatever I want to do, my question is, what am I benefiting from that? I'm not available at any time. I can tell you by God's grace, under grace now, that I don't remember the last time I visited a friend. I don't remember the last year. From home, I just took over and said, I'm going to visit a friend. I can't remember the last time I did that. I have a lot that I need to do. It was difficult. That's the reason why I had to cut off friends. I said, no, let me not have friends. Let me concentrate on my life. I don't have friends right now. Noah is alone. Eagles fly alone. Birds of same feathers flock together. Keep flocking. Let me be flying alone. You see, you are hired for your difference, but you are fired for your similarity. The reason why you hire me is because I'm different. If I was similar, you would have fired me a long time ago. I'm telling you. Glory be to God. So I should start off. I start off from home. I'm going to visit a friend somewhere. For what? What am I going to benefit? What are we going to discuss? What are we going to discuss? Somebody say value. Sometimes it may appear like pride. But sir, in a few years' time, we are going to be giving an account of the time that God gave us. And the fact that I visited you is not going to be part of the records. Have you realized your value? Some of you ladies, if you only knew your value, your worth, if you added value to yourself, you couldn't be dating those guys that you're dating. But right now you can date anything because you don't know how much value you have. I'm telling you, those useless chaps you're dating, you don't know the value that you have. A Christian girl is dating a guy that is a drunkard. A Christian girl is dating a guy who is an unbeliever. I'll change him. You have the power to change a human being. You. The truth is that if he can't change for you, he will never change with you. Praise the Lord. Add value to yourself. Apart from being busy and having little time and, other things, sometimes some of the appointments, I don't see the reason why the person should see me. I'm telling you, I don't see the reason why. Some people, it's because of, do you know that in this world, there are people who have a degree in wasting other people's time? Avoid those individuals at all cost. That goes to my, what point now? 3, avoid any person that is only there to waste your time. What do I mean wasting your time? Any person that whenever you have a conversation with, you don't benefit anything from them, avoid them. Avoid people that don't add value to your life. They don't put anything to your life. The truth is that if a person is not adding into your life, they are subtracting from your life. No conversation, no interaction, no meeting is neutral. It is either they are adding value to you or they are subtracting value from you. Right now, as I'm speaking to you, it's either I'm adding value to you or I'm subtracting value from you. But you understand that the former is better. Right now, as you are seated and I'm speaking to you, it's either you also are adding value to me or you're subtracting value from me. I feel you are adding value because I'm maximizing my purpose. I'm impacting your life. I am changing your life. And that is value that you can add to me. Help me fulfill my purpose as I help you fulfill your purpose. So there are people that have got a master's degree, a PhD in wasting your time. Avoid them at all cost. Tell people to say, if you have a business of doing nothing, don't do that business with me. Tell them. Let people understand that if they have a business of doing nothing, let them not do that business with you. Let them not come to your house if they have nothing to do. Why should somebody call you at 02? I miss you, I wanted to talk to you. Where are they missing you from 02? Are they missing you in the shrine? Where are they missing you? 02, I miss you. Just wanted to talk to you. Time wasters, avoid such kind of calls. You don't understand the reason why I like finding missed calls on my phone. Because it's not every phone call that I need to pick. Telling you. People that don't have a vision in life, they want to empty their free minutes on you. Get free minutes and they are using it to call you at night, talking about something. Nothing. After an hour has gone, what have you discussed? Nothing. They're just gossiping about people that are making it in life. I'm telling you, gossip them, they make it. Have you realized that the more you gossip certain people, the more they make it? And do you realize that the people you gossip, it is because of an achievement, that's why you gossip them? You don't gossip on a person that is doing nothing. No, you gossip on people that are doing something. Avoid all gossip mates. Somebody who just comes to your house with an appointment, avoid such individuals. Maybe you haven't grown to that level yet, but try to grow. Try to grow. I'm telling you, somebody just comes early in the morning at your house. I was bored, I came to you. I said, no, I'm not here to entertain people that are bored. Let us have a meeting. If it's not we are going to hang out, we are going to play, we are going for adventure somewhere, but we should have a program. We should have a program. Don't just come to destabilize my program. And you, out of your unseriousness with life, somebody just bouges in your house. Somebody just comes accidentally into your house. You were supposed to start off to go somewhere. You have even cancelled your program. Look at you. Look at how unserious you are with your destiny. Look at how unserious you are with life. Tell them, say, unfortunately, I'm going somewhere. Next time, let's make a program, huh? And even you should also stop gouging into people's houses, bumping into people's houses without a program. What kind of a human being are you? Have a program. Try to call them. Respect people. Just go to someone's house without calling them. Who are you? What do you want? Praise the Lord. Praise be to God. Question. What do you benefit from that conversation that you normally have? Start calculating your time very well. Avoid being found with people, certain people. I know you talk about friendships. I know about friendships. I know about friendships. But sir, destiny is very bad. I grew up in the ghetto and I used to see it, how things used to happen those days. Two girls can be playing together, best of friends. They are wasting each other's time. But just one among the two, between the two, just gets an opportunity, gets married before the other. And I don't know nowadays, but those days they used to teach people that when you get married, you avoid single friends. So you change a class of friends. We saw it how marriage broke a friendship. Somebody just transfers and they begin to stay somewhere else. Mzaki asala, they wasted each other's time. This person has been elevated and she remains here. She can't get back the time that they wasted. Imagine, I'm sorry for that, but imagine if you're the unfortunate person that remains behind after your friend has been elevated. Let us learn to maximize our time. Let us learn to utilize our time very well. These late night calls that you like making for 1 hour, avoid them. They are distractions to you. Call people that matter. Call people that matter. I know there's a time where to check up on your friends, just to interact, to catch up, but must it be your business every day? Must it be happening every day? You have to call, a long time, all those kind of stuff. Avoid that. Stop that. They don't help you. Learn to master time wasters. Master time wasters and avoid them at all cost. That's how you can redeem your time. 2 more principles that you can use to redeem your time. Number 1. Money. Somebody say money. Money. Money is a tool that can be used to redeem time. There's a mistake that I feel people make on money. Please get this. A mistake that I feel people make. They think they can use their time to get money. But actually, you should use money to get time. Never try to use time to buy money, but use money to buy time. Give an example. The reason why we prefer to fly on a distance that we can travel just like that, it is because we want to buy time. I usually go to Kenya. Do you know that in Kenya, there are different airplanes that you can use? One of them is Ethiopian Airways. Ethiopian Airways, it's about $450. $450 going to Kenya. But when you take off from here, Lusaka, you don't go to Kenya. You have to go to Addis Ababa in Ethiopia first. So it takes you to Ethiopia. And it takes about how many hours to go to Ethiopia? How many hours from Lusaka to Ethiopia? It takes about 4 hours. You go to Ethiopia in about 4 hours. Then when you get to Ethiopia, you need to wait for another 4 hours to connect to a flight that will take about 2 hours to go to Kenya. So look at the time. You leave Zambia, it takes you 4 hours, you go to Kenya. Then to Ethiopia rather. When you get to Ethiopia, you use another 4 hours. That makes 8 hours to go to Kenya. And when you get to Kenya, you use about 2 to 3 hours. 4 hours, 2 to 3 hours, I don't know. So altogether, you have spent about 10 hours to 12 hours. But if you use KQ, Kenyan Airways, from here to Kenya, it's about 3 hours to 4 hours. But then Kenyan Airways, if I'm getting it from here, it's about $800. Sometimes I'll find tickets that are there at maybe 4,500 kwacha. Then there will be another ticket at 10,000 kwacha. I'll buy a ticket for 10,000 kwacha. Why? Because I want to buy my time. Because if I'm to go to Ethiopia, take 4 hours to be in Ethiopia, wait for another 4 hours to go to Kenya, Then if I'm coming back on Saturday, because I usually come back on Saturday after a meeting there, I have to go to Ethiopia. That means I would have to miss a Sunday service. But if I'm getting a Kenyan Airways, I have to be here doing a midweek service on Wednesday. When I finish a midweek service on Wednesday, I'll go to the airport, take off, I'll be there on Thursday in the morning, do my preparations and my plannings. In the evening, we start a meeting. Then Saturday evening, I finish the meeting, just rest a little bit, and I go to the airport, get into a flight. Sunday morning, I'm here, prepare, I'm here in the service. So I'm using my money to buy my time. I can pay a lot just to buy time. But I'm not going to spend a little money to spend a lot of my time. Because I understand what time can do for me. Do you know that this journey from Lusaka to Johannesburg, it is one full day, 24 hours, just on average. One full day. But if I'm going on air, 1 hour, 40 minutes. So imagine I'm seated in a bus the whole day. And I'll pay, is it about 1,000 now, ticket by bus? How much? 850 somewhere there, by bus. Then a plane will be like maybe, let's not talk about the business class, just an average plane will be like maybe 6,000. It will be 6,000. And it will take me 1 hour, 40 minutes. So I'm using my money to save my time. All that time, the 22 hours plus, I can save it, I can buy it back. Those days I used to travel to see my father, and I'll be coming back on Sunday. I'll be in South Africa on Sunday, and I'm just doing 1 or 2 things. Before you realize it, I'm back, I'm in the service, and I'm ministering to you, coming from South Africa. I'm back here, I minister to you. Then I do some other things. Why? Because I've used my money wisely. So you can use your money to buy time. That's a secret of rich people. They use money to buy time. There's what the scriptures talks about. I'll give you the length of days. Do you know what length of days means? The common 24 hours, but it is appearing as if you have got extra hours. That's length of days. There's a difference between long life and length of days. Long life is living long. Length of days is having 1 day, but it is long. Do you know that if I, by the grace of God, if I am to get 2 gentlemen, all right, I am working, I have 24 hours. Then I get this. Gentlemen, stand up. Stand up. Standing up meaning like, yes, the way you've done it. Then, hey, what going on, man? Yeah, now you did be standing as well. So I get these 2 gentlemen. Are you understanding? I get these 2 gentlemen. I employ them to be working for me. And I'm paying them. In a day, I'm only having 24 hours. But if I'm paying them, these guys will give me their time. 6 to 6 is how many hours? From 6 hours to 18 hours. 12 hours. So, this guy, I'll be paying him. I get his 12 hours. And this one, I get his 12 hours. So from these 2 people, I'm having 24 hours. So I'm having 2 days in 1 day. Using my money to have 2 days in 1 day. They are working for me, I pay them. And I'm doing other things. So you see how we buy time, huh? So the more manpower you have, the more you can buy. You can buy people. If you are willing to pay people and they give you their time, you have a lot of time in this world. That's why it comes to a place where you can be sleeping and your money is being made. I can tell you right now, even if I'm to sleep for the whole month, I'll never be broke another day. Because I've put up my systems that make money for me. Human resources. Understand how to use your money to create time. There are distances that you don't need a bus. Just get a taxi, go there. Must you be in a bus all the time? Sometimes a taxi will save you a lot of time. I'm telling you. A bus. Those guys are there to make money. You just get into a bus. And you can't rush those guys. That's their business. And more especially if they have already gotten your money, you're in trouble. So at times, learn to use your money to buy time. It's very much important. Don't be selfish. Some of you selfishness that is killing you so fast. You are selfish. You are selfish. You are selfish. I'm telling you. No, I understand the principle. There are times whereby, even me, I wouldn't appreciate a businessman going, that's when they're developing their business, and they're flying to South Africa to buy stuff. No, I don't appreciate that. You can sacrifice for now. You're making You're creating momentum, you're gathering momentum. But when God blesses you, start using your money to help you in life. Kaso kanapakisa. Some of you, kaso kanapaka. You are not here on earth forever. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your life. Utilize your life very well. Telling you. Very soon you'll be regretting why you never utilized your money. You die. At some point you die. You die, your uncles will be coming to get your property. They'll be dividing your sheds. They'll be dividing your monies. Why else you are going? It doesn't matter how old you die. You can even die at 100 years, but you still die. You are not going to live on earth forever. That your brother will be coming. Say, it was our brother. We need that car. They'll divide your children. And you realize why. You will regret why you never spent your money well. Parents, if you have got time, you have got money, use it well with your family. Go for family picnics. Have time to bond with your family. Have time. So that even if you are to die at it, you are going to die at it, you go knowing that you haven't left anything untended. One of my goals on earth is to live on earth without regrets. Live on earth without regrets. If I'm going to go by 120 years, I should never regret that I never utilized my life very well. Use your money to buy your time. Don't use your time. Don't use your time to get money. Use money to get time. There are people right now that believe they don't have what to do. You can be home having not what to do. I've got a lot of principles. I'll give you some other time. But one of the things that you can use to redeem your time is to invest your time in something productive, doing something productive. You might not have a business, you might not have a job, you don't have where to go to. But if you don't have what to do, sometimes sacrifice to read a book. The knowledge you get out of that book is an investment for a lifetime. Avoid watching those that you like watching, the Telemundos, the Z-World. Sometimes avoid them. They're not bad. It's not a sin. Watch them. But learn to calculate your time. I love movies. I watch movies a lot as well. But there are times whereby I want to watch a movie and I ask myself a question. These people that this is one thing that just saved me from, wasting my time. Whenever I want to watch a movie and I have something else to do, I usually tell myself one thing. I tell myself that these guys I'm watching, they have been paid for me to watch them. Will I be paid after watching them? And if the answer is no, I switch off that thing and I concentrate on doing something. So before you watch those Wenenguzu that you watch, tell yourself that that man has been paid. After watching them, are you going to be paid? Now, I'm not talking about watching out of entertainment. Entertainment is important. But if you are going to go for entertainment at the expense of your life, then you're making a mistake. If you're going for entertainment at the expense of your life, you're making a very big mistake. Sometimes minimize the time you're spending on Facebook. It is not adding value to you. People like us are using Facebook to impact lives. There are people that are in this place today because they saw me on Facebook ministering and they're here. But some of you are not even a motivational speaker. You're not even a socialite. You're not even a preacher. But you're just there watching everyone. Just have some time whereby you'll be going on Facebook at some time. You read whatever you want to read. If you finish, log out. You don't have to be on Facebook the whole day. You have been there the whole day. What benefit did you get? I can tell you that that's one of the things that has helped me in life to achieve a lot of things at a young age, because at a young age, when I was still young, I really I had a certain hunger for knowledge. I needed to know more. So I spent a lot of my teenage and my early 20s studying the Word of God. My late teenage and my early 20s studying the Word of God. I was reading a lot of books. Whatever I can find to read that I'll get something I need to read. I read those things that, there are things I can't advise you to read nowadays. There are a lot of stuffs and errors. But I can tell you that I read 3/4 of books by this SDA prophetess, Ellen G. White. I used to read a lot of her books. Some of them I was like, but these things are not, they're not right. But I read a lot of books. Jehovah's Witness, what books didn't I read? I read Jehovah's Witness. Read a lot of stuffs. That's how come I'm balanced in doctrine, because I found a lot of errors that those people were doing. I said, okay, let me just go for the Bible. I started reading the Bible, Genesis to Revelation, and it helped me a lot. I feel I haven't achieved what I need to achieve. I'm maybe a little bit far, but I'm almost there. But the truth is that there are sometimes I look at young people at my age, their life are just useless. They have not done anything. And I have done something with my life that I'm proud of what I'm doing and what I've done. I have touched many people. So are you proud with where you are now? Are you proud with what you have done with your life? Is your life where it's supposed to be? At 30 years where you are now, what have you done? Also, you've already crossed 30 now. What is it that you have? You have 40 years. In that 40 years, what do you have? Do you have a house in your name? Do you have a car in your name? You don't have a house, you don't have a car, you don't have a business. You're doing that. Your life is a waste. At 40, no business, no car, no house. It's even worse even if you don't have, more especially if you don't even have a job. Are you seeing that you don't have time? Young man, where you are in your 20s, what are you doing? What is your vision for the next 10 years? Very soon you're going to be 35. Why am I racing against life? It's because I know that this life is too short. I've got a lot of things that I need to do that I haven't done. So I can punish myself to say, this night I'm not going to sleep. Let me study. Let me pray. Why? Because I want to achieve a lot. I want to achieve a lot. There's a time that is coming that I might not even have that strength to pray the whole night. But before that time, I need to utilize the strength I have now. That energy that you have in your 20s, there's a 65-year-old man that doesn't have the same energy. He wants to do something. He wants to get employed as well, but he can't. So utilize the energy that you have. Utilize the energy that you have. Utilize it very well. Invest whilst you're still young. In conclusion, the problem is that you think you have too much time. I'll finish my message. Redeeming the time.
More Than Conquerors family, demonstrating God's power and revealing Jesus.